Hello, hello, hello. Am I audible now, guys? Please tell me. My mic is open. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are audible now.
Okay, I think there was some problem. I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry for this. So good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. And I'm so sorry for that issue. I don't know what was happening there. So good evening, everyone, and I welcome all of you back to this HTML and CSS Essentials course. And today we are going to do a lot of cool things. So I hope you guys are excited. Please let me know in the chat, guys. Please, everyone, let me know in the chats. Are we excited for today's session? Because we are going to do like a lot of things. We are going to cover tables, we are going to cover forms, and after that we are also going to see the basics of CSS. So we are going to see about classes, IDs, and everything. And if we get time today, we're also going to see the concept of box model. So yes, we have tables, we have forms, and after that we are going to start with the basics of CSS. So we have a lot of things planned. Okay, so let's get ahead. And I can see a lot of people asking about this, what you call the assignments. So don't worry about it, guys. I think the community site is like facing some problems. Okay, so don't worry, it will be solved. And if it is not solved, all the assignments on all the materials will be mailed to you. So don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, everyone. So let's get started. And for assignment, don't worry if the community doesn't start, because there are some issues going on in the uploads. So if you don't get the assignment on the community, don't worry. The assignments and the folders will be mailed to you. So please register to the course so that we can get your mail IDs and we'll mail to you. Okay, everyone. So don't worry about the assignment questions right now. Don't worry about it right now. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. So yesterday we finished off at iframe, right? So now we know how to create the basic HTML document. Now we know how to put audio, video, paragraphs, images, and we also know how to integrate live map, and we also know how to integrate a YouTube video in our web page. So today we are going to start with creating tables, then we'll move to forms, and we'll see all the different type of fields, and after that we'll move ahead to the CSS concept. Okay, so everyone, let's get started. And today's code, what I'll do is I'll do it in this page, in the second.html. Yesterday we created it, right, as a dummy page. So all the today's code, all the tables and form stuff, I'm going to do it in this because it's a like completely new page. So we can do everything here. We don't need this first.html today. Okay, we have already made like a lot of code there. So let's not do that. So close it and let's start with a fresh file. And let me remove all of this. We don't need it here. And yeah, let's get started. And also, let's run this file. So simply copy the path, go in your favorite browser. So let me get a browser window for you. Here we go. We have the browser window, paste it, and cool. It's up and running. Okay. So now, guys, let's get started. Let me close this sidebar, and here we go. Okay. So now, guys, today we are first of all starting with tables. So, okay, let me just mention it in the title. We're going to learn tables. We're going to learn forms, and after that, we are going to learn about CSS basics. So let me mention all of that. And now let's get started. So the first topic that we are doing here is tables. So let's start with talking about it. What exactly is a table? You guys have seen tables like from your childhood, right? We know what is a table. A table is nothing but a good representation of showing data, a way of showing data, right? A way of showing textual data. Like you have seen tables all around, you have seen tables in your mathematical books, you have seen tables in your textbooks. It's one of the best way to represent textual data that has rows and columns, right? A table is nothing but that has rows and columns, and it's one of the best ways to represent textual data. And in our websites also, a lot of times we need to represent textual data in a good manner, and that's where tables play an important role. Okay, like let's say we don't see a lot in a like normal user application, but when you work for backend applications where you have a lot of data, in that cases tables are used a lot. Like for backend application of Flipkart, let's say backend application of Amazon, where they manage all your data, they use tables to display data. Maybe you'll not see tables in front end a lot, but in backend applications we use the concept of tables a lot. Okay, so that's why we should learn how a table works and how to create table in HTML. So let's get started with that. And that's really simple. Again, we have tags. So now to start with the table, the first tag that you need here is a simple table tag, which will do nothing basically. It will simply tell the browser that now here I have table. So this is the main tag that you need here, a table tag, the parent table tag. Now, remember guys, now normally when we talk about tables, we talk about rows and columns. That means we create rows and we create columns. But remember, guys, there's just one trick that you should remember when you work with tables in HTML. Okay, so when you are creating a table in HTML, you should remember that you're not creating rows and columns. You're simply going to create rows, and inside the rows, you're going to create cells. That means here you don't create columns. Here you simply create rows, and inside rows you create cells. That's it. That's how you create it. You don't create columns in HTML. Okay, the final output will look like a table, will look like a collection of rows and columns. But while creating, you don't create columns. You simply create rows and cells. And you're going to see about that. Don't worry. Okay. So now let me just start with the basic first. Okay. So the tag that you need to create a row, it's simple. You have something called as a TR tag. That simply stands for table row. That's it. A TR tag that simply stands for table row. And inside that row, you are going to create cells, different cells. And to create cell, the first tag that you can use is a TD. That simply stands for table data. That means a cell that is going to hold your data. That's it. Simple. Like for example, let me just put like, let's say English, something like that. Now, if I want to create one more cell in this same row, just after that TD, you can create one more TD. And let's say we write Spanish, something like that. Doesn't matter. So now my first row in the table has two cells horizontally arranged. Okay, in the first one we have English, in the second one we have Spanish. Simple. Now I can have more rows in my table. So what I can do is I can exit the first row and I can write one more TR. Okay, now I have a new row. So I have the second row now. And inside that, let's say we write simply one more TD, and let's say I write apple. Okay, anything. And let's say here I write manzana. Don't worry about it. It's just what apple is called in Spanish. That's it. Okay. So now I have the first row in which I have two cells. I have a second row in which I have two cells. Simple. Let's see how it is looking like in the output. Save it, go in your browser, and here we go. You can see, let me zoom it. You can see I have English and Spanish in a row, apple and manzana in a row. But it doesn't look like table because tables normally have what? They have borders. They look like a table. So if we don't have borders, it doesn't look like table, right? So now we need borders here. So for borders, what you can do is you can simply go in the table tag and there is an attribute named border. Simple. Okay, and here you can simply specify what is the thickness of border that you want. So I normally use one. That means I need one like thickness of border. You can say 2, 3, 4, 5. It will be simply the thickness of border. So simply I normally use one. I need the plain simple border. So border one. So by size of the border will be one, and here we go. See. Now let me just show you what will happen if you give 2 or 3. Let me give 5. Now see what will happen here. It's just the thickness of border. That's it. That's the size of the border. Or you can say width of the border. That's it. But normally I use one. So let me just keep it one just to see if I have borders. And that's it. Simple. That's how you simply create a border. And now you can see I create row. So I've created two rows, and inside one row I have two cells. Inside second row I again have two cells. That means I'm not creating columns here. I'm simply creating rows and cells. But the arrangement looks like a column. That means like this. If I say English and apple, they look like a column. Spanish and manzana, they look like a column. So the vertical arrangement of cells looks like a column. But you're not really creating a column here. You're simply creating rows and cells. And that's it. Is that clear to everyone? Are we understanding the basic concept here? Now we are not just finished yet. We are going to see everything in tables. But are we understanding this basic thing, everyone? Please tell me. So that's what I wanted to show you. I wanted to simply show you that you're creating rows and cells. You're not creating columns. That's all. Okay. Now let's move ahead and let's see some really cool things like how actually you should create a table. Now this is not the best way of creating a table. This is not the best way. This is not the recommended way. So let's see the best way of creating a table. Okay. Now when you're going to create a table, normally you have a heading row. The first row is your heading row, right? Where you put all the column names, right? Whenever you create table, the first row is mostly a heading row where we like write our column names. So here also inside table, when you're moving with it, the first row should be your heading row. So if you feel that your first row is going to be a heading row, so what you do is you divide your table into two parts, mainly in two parts. First, you use something called the T head tag. That stands for table head. That stands for table header. That's it. Okay. And then after table header, you have one more tag named T body, table body. So inside T head, you put the rows that you're going to use for heading. Screen is not clear? Asha, can you please improve the video quality once, because I think it's pretty much clear. So I'm so sorry for that, but you can just please just improve the quality of the video once, Asha. I hope you can do that. And just like if you want, I can zoom it. I can zoom the screen a little bit more, so that if, even if it is not clear, you can view it. Okay, guys. So now you have T head, in which you should put all your rows that you're going to use for heading. And then you have T body, in which you should put all your other rows which contain data, normal data. So all your heading rows should go in T head, and all your normal rows, the rows that contain data, should go in T body. That's what the standard says. So standard says that you should use T head and T body in your tables. That's it. T head and T body are doing nothing. They are just like encapsulating your data. That means, okay, fine, I'm T head, I'm going to store the rows that are used for heading. I'm T body, I'm going to store the rows that you use for data. That's it. They are just a way of making tables, a good way of making table, so that you can identify things properly. That's it. They are not going to do anything in the output. So now let's go here inside T head and let's create our first row. TR, okay, and let's simply say English. Again, let me just put English, and in one more cell there. So I'm simply going to put, so this is my heading row. That's it. That's why I put it in T head. Let me say Spanish, something like that. Okay. Inside T body, now you can create all the other rows. So inside T head, I have one row. Okay. And I want to like consider it my heading row. That's why I put inside T head. And now here, I want to create my normal rows. So I can simply go ahead and create anything that I want. So let's say I put Apple. Okay. Then I create one more TD. So sorry. Let's say I put manzana. That's what the apple is said in Spanish, I think. You see it now? See, it looks exactly same. But this is how you should create a table. Inside T head, you should have your heading row. Inside T body, you should have your normal data rows. Like you can create one more row inside T body, because your all your data rows will come inside T body. So let's say I say hello. Here I say hola. That is hello in Spanish. And here we go. But now, if you see, this heading row is not looking like a heading row properly. It's looking like normal, right? How can I like differentiate it that it's actually a heading row? So they have also given you one more tag which will make your text bold. They have also given you one more tag that you can use to create a cell, but it will be a little bolder and centered. So instead of TD in the heading row, you can use something called as CH. That again stands for table heading, simple, but you can use it. And it will make your text look a little bolder, and the text will be centered. So it will exactly look like a heading. So TH and TD both are for same thing. Both are creating cells for you. But whatever you create with TD, it's normal. Whatever you create with TH, the text will be bolded and it will be centered. That's it. Save it and see now. Here we go. So now it looks like a heading. So now English and Spanish are heading, and below that I have the data that I want. And that's how you should create tables basically. So you should have a T head and then you should have a T body. In some case, if you don't use this T body, the browser will automatically add the T body. That means the browser says T body is important. That's why you should always put your that's why like you should always divide your table into T head and T body. It's recommended actually. Even if you don't put it, browser will automatically put T body. Just try it once at home when you start practicing it. Just go create table and just put TRs directly. You'll see that the browser is automatically putting T body because browser wants it. That's how the browser understands the table. That's why you should always use this T head and T body. They are recommended. Okay. So everyone, are we clear with this, guys? Now there are a few more things that you can do with tables, but right now you should not do it because now we have CSS. Even the border that we are giving here, we should not use this border attribute to give border to the table. But right now we didn't needed it because we don't know CSS. In future, we are not even going to use this border attribute because we're going to use CSS to give our table the proper border. So right now, you don't have to like go for anything else. But there are few more properties that I want to tell you. Few important properties that I want to show you. Okay. So everyone, are we cleared? Guys, are we understanding this? So when CSS comes, we'll see everything else as well. Right now, fine. But there are two more properties, very important table that I want to tell you. Like I want to tell you the important properties. Now, if you have ever used like Excel or something, if you have ever used like Excel or something, you might have seen merging of cells. Repeat what, guy? Atul, can you tell me what do you want me to repeat? Atul, can you tell me what do you want me to repeat, buddy? What is your confusion? Okay, not a problem. I'll wait for your doubt, buddy. Okay, so now, guys, let's move ahead. And now I was talking about if you have ever used Excel or something like that, you have seen like merging of cells, right? Where you have seen like your cells merge, like the cells of two columns merge and make a bigger cell, or the cells of two rows merge and make a bigger cell, right? What if I want to do something like that? Yes, I have like, yes, I'm still explaining that. I'm showing you. I have not like done it yet. Don't worry, Naveed. I'm just showing you that. Don't worry. I was just talking about merging. So you have seen, right? You merge two cells and make a bigger cell. Okay. So how to do that here? And that's really easy. So let's say, for example, I create one more row. Okay. I create one more row. And inside that, let's say I create TD. Okay. Now let's say I write, just for example, let's say we write tree. Okay. And let's say in Spanish also, tree means tree. Just for example. Okay. I don't know what tree is meant in Spanish, so don't worry about it. So let's say tree is also called tree in Spanish. So I write tree twice. Okay. And fine. It looks perfectly fine. Tree is also known as tree in Spanish. But now here, if I see, okay, fine. If both are tree, should I create one big column and just write one time tree? How can I do it? Like, how can I merge these two cells and just write tree one time? Can I do that thing? And yes, you can do that thing, and that's very easy. So for that, you can use the attribute called col span. Now remember, guys, here you actually don't merge cells. You're not merging two cells. You simply increase the size of one cell that it should take two columns. By default, a cell takes only a size of one column. I'm simply increasing the size of the cell so that it like takes the space of two columns. You'll see it. So here I write col span and I write col span 2. That means, okay, fine. Span yourself in two columns. By default, it's one. That means I'll only take one column size. Now I want this particular cell to take two column size. Let's see what is happening. Save it. Now this first column is taking two column size, and that's why it's getting out. So it's simple. We don't need it, right? We don't need this extra column here. So what we can do is we can simply remove that extra TD. And that's it. Now it looks like merging of cells. So it looks like merging, but you're not actually merging. You're simply increasing the size of a column. That's it. That's how it works. That's how it works. Is that clear, everyone? Are we understanding how col span works? Everyone, please tell me. Are we understanding how col span works? And in the same way, you also have something called as row span, which simply increases size in terms of row. Col span increases size in terms of columns. Row span will increase the size in terms of rows. Okay. So what I can do is, let's say we create one more TR. Okay, let's say we create two more rows. Okay. So let's create two more rows here. So let's say we go ahead and we write TD and anything like, for example, just for example, guys, I'm using any dummy words. So let's say, okay, we write dummy, nothing like that. Let's say we simply write dummy. Okay. And we write fool, something like that. Okay. Not a problem. Yes, yes, Harmanpreet. But here I just wanted to give example. Like, what if tree is called tree in Spanish? What if I want to do this? Just I was just like backing up with a concept. That's it. Yes, you can definitely change it. Not a problem. Okay. So now, guys, see, I have this dummy and fool, something like that. Okay. Now, let's say we create one more row. Okay, and inside that, I create, let's say, one, and I create, let's say, two, something like this. Now, what I want is, I want this dummy to span in the row direction. So what can I do for it? Let's see. So just like col span increases size of the column, increases the size of the cell in two columns, row span will increase the size of the cell in two rows. So to see that, let's do it. So let's go to this dummy cell and let's simply go there and write row span. And by default, again, it's one. So let's say two. And let's see what is happening here. And here we go. You can see it, right? Dummy is coming down. But now we again have extra thing because it's not actually merging. It's like increasing the size. So now we have this extra thing. So you can simply remove it. We don't want that extra thing. Save it. And here we go. So this is col span and this is row span. Row span increase in the order of row. Col span increase in the direction of column. That's it. Are we cleared, everyone? Please tell me, are we understanding? So that's how row span and col span works. Now there are a few more attributes like cell padding and cell spacing, but you don't have to understand them right now because we are going to use CSS for that. So this is how you basically create a table. That's it. A simple, clear table. Nothing else. That's how you create a table. Simple. T head, T body. You put rows inside them. That is created by using TR. And then for cells, you can either use TH if you're creating heading cells. You can use TD if you're creating normal cells. And if you want to increase the size of a column or a cell in column direction, you're going to use col span. And if you want to increase the size of a cell in row direction, if you have to use row span. That's it. That's it. I can still see a lot of people asking about assignments. Guys, see, the community site is not working properly currently because we are updating it. Okay. So don't worry. If it doesn't work perfectly by like midnight, all the assignment questions and all the folders will be mailed to you. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. So don't worry about the assignment, guys. The community work site is not working properly. Okay. So if it is not working by today, like tonight, all the things, all the materials in the assignment will be mailed to you. Now it's working. Okay, that's great. Yes, sir. I have one doubt. If want to fit image by using row span, can you please tell? Yes, Navid, you can definitely put image and you can increase the size. Yes, then it will work like a normal div. Yes, you can definitely do it, buddy. Yes, Navid, you can do it. Sir, I saw some web page that use image tag like this without symbol of which one is right. You should always close image tag, Sarma. The standard says you should always close the tags. So they are not following the standards. If they normally use IMG, it will not cause any error, but they are not following the standards because according to the standards, you should always close your tags. Never forget to close your tags. Is that clear, Sarma? So if they're using it, still works. A lot of people use it because you don't get any error, but according to standards, that's not correct. Okay. Yes, Neeraj, I'll also teach the JS, but yes, I'll also teach JS. Okay, guys. So everyone, are we clear with tables? And don't worry about cell padding, and cell spacing because there are alternatives to that, and we'll see when we'll do CSS. Is that clear? So don't worry about it. So that's how you create a basic table, and now you can explore it. You can make this table big by creating a lot of columns. It's totally up to you. Okay. So that's how you create a table. And now let's move ahead and let's see the next and one of the very important things in HTML. And now we are almost closing to end the HTML thing. Row span once more. Okay, I'll tell you. See, it's simple. If you understand the basic concept, it's like really simple. Col span is increasing the size of a cell in column direction. Row span is increasing the size of the cell in row direction. Like this, see. If I don't do this row span, what will happen? Simple. This particular row is having two cells and the last row is having one cell, right? And doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. Now, what I want is I want to increase the size of this cell into two rows. I want this dummy cell to take a size of two rows, right? I want that. So for that, I go to that cell and I say row span. By default, it's one. That means I'll only take size of one. So I say two. That means fine. You take size of two, like two rows. Take the size of two rows. Row span two means take the size of two rows. And here we go. See, now the dummy is taking the size of two rows. So that's the basic thing. That's how row span works. Col span means take the size of multiple columns. Row span means take the size of multiple rows. Okay. And you can like put any value. 2 means take the size of two rows. You can also say row span 3, row span 4, row span 5, depending on how many rows you want to spread. That's it. So which is better to define row span, col span in HTML file? I think in HTML file. I don't think you define row span and col span using CSS. So normally you do row span and col span in HTML only. So yeah, that's the place said where you can define. In CSS, yes, you can definitely increase the width and height if you want. Okay. But yeah, row span and col span, you should always work with what you call HTML. Is there any size limit? No. No. You can increase like as big as you want. Depends on your need. Depends on how big is your table. You can increase it. Doesn't matter. There's no limit. There's no restriction in this case. Okay. Now, guys, let's move ahead and let's talk about next topic. Okay. So I'll just put a lot of enters here so that we get a good space. I have commented the whole table so that if I share you, you'll still get the table code. And now let's move ahead and let's start learning about forms. So again, before starting with it, we should talk about forms. What exactly are forms? So I think all of you are familiar with forms because all of you are using website. All of you are currently on YouTube, so you already know what are forms, right? On a web page, forms are nothing but a way by which you can take user data, like this chats that you're putting, right? You come to this input field, right, where you write your chat and press on that button. So the chat comes in and you can see your chat, right? So that's again an input field. So form is nothing but a way of taking input or data from the user by creating input fields. So the collection of input fields is considered as a form. Simple. An input field is basically a box in which a user can come and write down something. Wherever user can write down something, that's nothing but an input field. Right? You go on Flipkart, you have a registration form. Form is like a collection of fields. You have login form, so it has username and password field. You have a registration form, it has username, name, email, password field. You have a, let's say, school registration form, there you have different things. So basically form in a nutshell is nothing but a collection of fields, but that fields are something that makes a form. So you have different types of field, right? So first of all, understand they are called input fields because in that you put your input, right? You're going to do some input in that. You put your name, you put your age, you put your email ID. That's why they are called input fields. Okay. And all those input fields basically combined, when you combine them, you simply are making a form. You simply are making a concept like, okay, fine, it's a registration form, it's a login form, or it's a student registration form, it's a gym submission form or something like that. Okay, but it doesn't matter. A form is a form, but you simply create input fields. And you have seen that, right? You have different input fields. For a name field, like you have a text field, a proper text field. You have a field to put your age, you have a field to put your email, a separate field to put your email, a separate field to select your gender, right? You have seen all of it, right? So there are a lot of different kind of fields in which the user can put input. And today we're going to learn all of that. So in short, we're going to learn how to create forms, and forms are created by creating what? Input fields. So now we have to see what are input fields, how to create them, and what are the different types of input fields that we have, and which one to use when. For age, what to use. For date of birth, what should we use. For putting country input, what should we use. For gender, what kind of field should we use. That's what we are going to learn. Why do we need form tag? We can get input without form tag. Yes, Bhaskara, don't worry, I'll explain you that. Don't worry. Is that, if that is a question, don't worry, I'm going to tell you that. Okay, why do we even need the form tag? Okay, so everyone, are we cleared? Can we move ahead now? So basically, see, creation of form is not that tough. You're simply going to create multiple input fields. So that's what we have to learn, how to create input fields. And that's going to be really simple. Okay, and you know, forms are nothing but a way of taking you data from the user, from the website user. So let's get ahead and let's start with it. So the first thing that you need here is a form tag. And again, just like table tag, it's going to do nothing. It's simply going to do nothing. It's not going to create any kind of a field for you or something like that. It's just a form tag that says, okay, fine, I'm a form. Okay. Now, inside this form tag, you simply create your input fields. Okay. Inside this form tag, you simply create your input field. Okay. So the tag that you have, if you want to create an input field, is very simple. It's a simple input tag. And again, it's an empty tag. That means you can close it here. Just like an image tag, input is also an empty tag. So you can simply close it here. And that's it. That's why it is named input, because it's going to help you to take input from the user. So that's why the tag is named input. And that's it. Now, as I said, now remember, guys, to take input, no matter what kind of input, it can be age, it can be date of birth, it can be what you call country input, whatever you want to take, this is the tag that you need, input tag. But how will the browser understand what kind of input you're putting? Because you have seen it, right? For name, you have different input field. For age, you have different kind of input field. For date of birth, you have different kind of input field where you can, like, where you get a calendar and you can select your date. So you have different types of input field. So input is a simple tag that helps you to create input field, but you need different types of input field. So how do we define that then? So for that, you simply have an attribute in input, and see, these are all the different types that you can put. So simple. all the different types that you can simply put here. Okay, so in this type attribute, you mention what kind of input you want. Okay, and the basic kind is this text. That means anything will do. Text is like any text. It can be number, it can be normal text, it can be symbol. I don't care. This is the general type of input field. Input type text. Okay, let's see. Are we getting an output? Let's go on the browser. And here we go. See, now it's like a normal input field, but you can see at least you can put some data now. The user can put some data on the browser. So now you can see it's a simple box. It's an input box where the user can put data. Okay. How do I know which tag is empty tag? Which one should I close? Don't worry about that, Frozen. HTML is not like really big. There are limited tags, so you'll understand that. By learning all of it, you'll understand which tags are empty and which are not. Okay, and sometimes they're very understandable. Like for example, see, if you're creating an input field, you know that it's not going to have any kind of content, so it's empty tag. The tags that don't have content, they are almost empty tags. Like image, it's not going to have any content, it's empty tag. So that's the basic understanding, and you don't have to worry. Once you learn all the HTML, you'll understand there are few empty tags that you can simply count. Okay, there are very few empty tags. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it. Once you learn everything, once you learn all the HTML, it's very limited. You'll simply understand how many empty tags you have, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so everyone, that's how you create a simple input tag. That's how you create a simple input field. But before moving on to the other input fields, I also want to teach you something else before moving on to other things, so that I can show you a few more really cool things. So before moving on to the other fields, I want to teach you how to create a button, how to create buttons in HTML. Simple, how to create buttons in HTML. So let's see how to create buttons for your web page. And for that, you simply have a button tag. That's it. For that, you simply have a button tag. And then in the button tag, write anything you want. Let's say I simply write register, something like that. If you see the output now, see, simply have a button tag. See, now you simply have a button. That's how simple it was to create a button. Button and just whatever text you want. And that's it. See, you have a button that you can click. Simply have a button that you can actually click. That's how you create a simple button. Can you please after that explain what is form for, because I came out late and missed form? Don't worry, Melika. Don't worry. I'll explain you. Don't worry. You're still correct. Don't worry. You are still on time. I'll explain you what exactly is form and why do we even need this form tag. I'm going to explain you. Don't worry. So guys, that's how you create button. But now buttons are also of different types. Okay, like there is a button that helps you to submit a form. There is a button that helps you to clear the form, and there is a button that does nothing by default. Okay, so you also have different types of button. So how to specify types of button? So you can come here and you can simply mention type and what type of button you want. So let's say this is, I want it to be a submit button. So the first type that you have is button type submit, and it is mostly used with forms. It is mostly used with forms because the main purpose of a submit button is to submit a form. It will always submit a form. Okay, you can see it. Like, even if you don't give any time, even if you don't give any kind of type, by default it's a submit button. Okay, so see, if I click on the button, you can see the page is actually getting refreshed because it is actually submitting the form. Right now it doesn't know where you have to submit, but at least it is refreshing the page. That means it is sending some kind of request somewhere. Right now it is not sending any request anywhere, but yes, it is refreshing the page. That means it is trying to submit. Right now, because you have not mentioned where should I submit this form, where should the form data go, you have not mentioned anything, but at least the submit button is doing its work. It is refreshing the page, it is trying to submit the form, but right now there's no endpoint where you want to submit the form. But don't worry about it. Okay, so this is the submit button. You can see when I click on it, it is refreshing the page. That means it is trying to submit this form. Now where it want to submit, you don't have to worry about it right now. Okay, then the next type that you have, let's say we call it clear. Okay, we write clear on the button. So the next type you have is type reset, which simply helps you to reset the form. Now see, if I write something in it and if I click on this button, see the form gets cleared. Okay, if I write something on it, click cleared. So clear button or not clear button, it's actually a reset button. Clear is the text that I have wrote on it. You can write anything here. Okay, so reset is a type of button that helps you to clear the form. So let's say, for example, you have a big form, you have filled everything, but now you understand, okay, fine, all the data is wrong. I don't want to submit this form. I want to clear all this field. So simply click on clear button, all the form will be cleared at once. Right? Just think of it. Sometimes you write some data in the form, you fill the whole form, and now you feel, okay, fine, this data is wrong. I don't know to fill this data. So you're not going to go and clear each and every field, right? You can simply click on clear and the whole page, sorry, whole form will be refreshed. The whole form will be cleared. So that's why you have this reset button. And the third type of button that you have is useless for now, but still we're going to learn it. So let's write useless on it for now. Okay. Useless. Don't worry, it's not useless, but I'm just writing it for now. So let's write type button. So you have button type button, which simply does nothing. By default, it does nothing. Now then, why do we have this button? So it's for custom things. What if you want to create a button and when you click on it, you want to slide an image? You want to create a button, when you click on it, the page scrolls. You want to create a button, when you click on it, something like, let's say, an image comes up, a pop-up comes up, right? You want to write your custom things. And for that, you can use this button, because the submit button's work is already defined. The reset button's work is already defined. That's why you have this button for your custom things. But for that, again, you need some kind of JavaScript to write those custom events. So for now, this button is useless, but in future, we have a lot of uses for it. Because for custom events, you cannot use submit button, because submit button will refresh your page. Clear button will clear the form. So that's why we have this button type button, which is useless for now, but in future, we are definitely going to use it. Okay. To like write your custom things. You want to pop up, you want to create a pop-up, you want to slide up an image, you want to scroll the browser, you want to do anything custom, you can use this button. Okay, everyone. So that's how it simply works. So now we have three types of button. Right now we don't need the last one, so let's comment it out. Okay. Now let's move ahead with all the things. Now then, this input field is here, but I don't know what should I input there, right? I don't know what should I put there, because when we show an input field to the user, we also tell the user what I want as an input there. Okay. So we write something like this. Let's say we simply go ahead here and we write enter name, something like this. There we go. We have, now the user knows, okay, fine. The website developer wants a name here. But now this is an old fashioned trick, having the label somewhere else and having the text field somewhere else. It takes space and it also doesn't look good. So do we have any other way of displaying the label, like what I want as a data in that input field? So yes, we have a really cool attribute called as placeholder, in which you can write whatever label you want. The best part about it is it basically displays inside the input field, and it's just like a watermark. It's not a value. See, it's not a text, it's a watermark. Your cursor is still at the start. It's just a watermark that will be there till you write your actual data. That's it. That will be there till you write your actual data. That's why it's called a placeholder. Till your actual data comes, I'll be there. But remember, guys, it's just a watermark. It's not a value. It's just a watermark that you can see. So you can see it's like a grayish, right? It's grayish because it's a watermark. That's it. So we have placeholder so that you don't have to write your label separately outside the field. So now it's a good thing. It's a really cool thing to have. So you can mention it like this. And I think you have seen it on a lot of sites. So everyone uses placeholder now. So everyone, are we clear with this, guys? Please tell me. Now, there is one more attribute that I would like to show you right now. Is there's an attribute called as max length. There is an attribute called as max length, which you can put in your normal textual fields. Okay. So there's an attribute called as max length. Okay. And what you can do is, let's say I put 8. Okay. Now see what will happen here. Save it. Now see, if I write something, I'm still typing, but I cannot go above 8 alphabets. I cannot go above 8 characters. And that's a really cool thing, right? So you have a max length attribute in input fields that you can put, and you can put how many characters should be accepted. And above 8, I cannot type in that field. And that's a really great thing, because when there was no HTML5, now this attribute was introduced in HTML5. So when there was no HTML5 for this kind of thing, we have to use JavaScript. But now we don't have to write a single line of code. We simply have max length. That's it. Is that clear, everyone? Just remember this, max length. It is used with normal textual fields where you want to limit the number of characters as the input. But now we're not going to use it here. Let's remove it. We're not going to use it here. Okay. So let's see the next kind of field. Let's see the next kind of field. The next kind of field that you have is type password, one of the most famous fields, right? You have seen this, right? You just go on a login form. So where you write password, by default, your password is not visible. You see that dot, 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 right? So that's like, this is what the field does. Input type password. You can see it now. See, if I just put here, if I just go here and write something, I'm going to see it like this. It's going to be hidden. So that's what input type password does. It's going to take a password input. That means it's not going to display the text that you're typing. Okay, and it's like one of the most important fields, right? You see it on everywhere. You see it on registration forms, you see in login forms, you see it on banking forms where you're writing a pin and everything. So that's what input type password can do. Okay, and now here you can also like simply put a placeholder. So let me just put like enter password. Don't worry, Shubham. We are going to that. Don't worry. Okay, and now let's say what I want is, now user can type n number of n number of characters. I don't want the user to type n number of characters. So again, I can limit him by using what? Max length. Simple. So max length 8. That means, okay, I only want a password of 8 characters. No one should go above 8. And that's it. So max length 8. And now if you see, if I just go here and start typing, I cannot go above 8. So that's how you can limit the user in the password field. You can also use this max length for name field, for email field. It's totally up to you. You can use this max length anywhere in your normal textual fields, in your string fields. Is that clear, everyone? How to enable show password? Yes, that's a feature that we have to make. Now, some browsers provide it, but that's a feature that we have to make. That feature doesn't come by default, Yash. Okay. So that feature of show password doesn't come by default. Either we make it or some browsers provide it. We have to make it. And don't worry, when we start with JavaScript, that's the first thing I'll show you, how to make that thing. Can we change the size of the input box? Yes, obviously, Monica. We have CSS. And don't worry, from like tomorrow or at the end of the day, we are going to see it. Okay. And we can use CSS to make it more beautiful and more good looking. Right now, we don't have it. So right now, we're only focusing on the input fields. Okay. How about, sir, in contact number? How do you cannot type letters in it? For that, we have to perform a concept of pattern matching. Okay. And I'll show you that. Don't worry. I'll show you that. Okay, because you don't have any field directly for contact numbers. There was a field introduced, but after that they stopped it because they found out that all the countries contact numbers are different, and some also have like alphabets in them. So that's why they have like degraded that particular field, and that's why you have to work with it. So we have got the concept of pattern matching, and you're going to see that. So don't worry about it. Right now, first of all, let's cover all the fields, and after that I'll show you how to create a proper contact field that can only accept numbers, how to create a password field that can only accept like an uppercase letter, a lowercase letter, a special symbol, and everything. So don't worry about it. Okay, there is a button so we can see our password, how it will. We have to make it, good do. We have to make it, buddy. That doesn't appear by default. Okay, so now guys, let's move ahead. Okay, and let's see the next one. So the next field that you have is input type email. Now this is again one more field that was introduced in HTML5, and again I can put placeholder email, or let's say we write enter email, something like that. And you can see now we have enter email. But now before everything, I want to show you something else as well. So now guys, see, now here if I click on register, it's working perfectly fine. But normally when you go on some forms, when you go on some like proper sites, there if you don't fill your fields, and if you click on the submit button or registration button, it gives you error that these fields are required, right? You give that error that this field is required. How to do that? Now previously when there was no HTML5, we used to use JavaScript for that, but nowadays we don't have to do that because we simply have a simple attribute called required. That's it. You simply put this attribute on the input field, and now it will simply become, now this name field will become required. Now if I like submit it without writing anything, see, I get this. Please fill out this field. Simple. No coding, nothing at all. Simply put a required attribute and that's it. And you can put the same attribute in your password field as well. And that will also become required. And you can also put the same thing in your email field as well. And that will also become required. So now if you see it, here we go. See, we get this. Now fill this. Let's say I fill this. If I click on again, now I get this error. Let's say I also fill this, I get this error. See? And now guys, see one more thing. Because it's input type email, if I start typing something, if I write wrong email and I click on register, see I get this. Please include an @ in the email address and also include a dot. So that's what input type email is doing. It's also checking if the email is correct or not. So if I click on it, see, I get this error. Don't worry, guys. Right now, we are focusing on the basic errors about how to make it alphanumeric, how to take special characters and everything. Don't worry. Just wait till the end of the form. I'll also show you that. Don't worry. I'm going to show you that. Without JavaScript, how to do that, I'm going to show you that. Don't worry about it. Okay. So now, guys, see. Let's complete it properly. See, again, we're going to get error. So we have to complete it properly. So something like whatever you want. Proper email. When you put proper email, then only this is going to complete. And that's how it works. So input type email, also check if the email is correct or not. So that's one benefit of using input type email. Are we cleared, everyone? Guys, please tell me, are we cleared with this? Okay. Now then, let's move ahead. Now, guys, see, you also have input type number. You also have an input type number. Now, I'm not going to write required everywhere. Now you know how required works. So I'm not going to write required everywhere. Okay. Now you know how required works. How to make this input fields on different line? It's simple. It's simple. Either you can use block elements or you can simply pass BRs in between them. Okay. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. When we learn CSS, I'll show you how to like properly arrange your fields and everything. Don't worry about it. Okay. So save it and let's see. Now see guys, and let me just put a placeholder here. Let's say placeholder enter age, something like that. Now see, now here it's an input type number. So if it is an input type number, see by default you get this. Okay, you get these two things. Now if you can go like this, see. So that's what input type number can do. It will by default give you a spinner and you can click on that and go up and at the bottom. And the best part about input type number is you cannot type text. See, I'm typing, it's not allowing me to type text. You can only type numbers. That's it. So that's how input type number works. And if you want, you can also use this for contact numbers because it only accepts numbers. That's it. Is that clear, everyone? So if you want, you can use this, but normally we don't use it. Normally we create our own what you call validation for contact numbers. But if you want, you can definitely go for it. Now, see guys, now this is not a normal text field. It's a number field. All these were normal textual fields, but this is a number field. So when you have a number field, there are few attributes that you can use with it. Okay. So there is an attribute called as max and there is an attribute called as min. Now these two attributes only work with number fields. They don't work with email. They don't work with password. They don't work with text. They only work with what? Number field. So here I can put like, okay, max 20, min 10, something like that. Save it and see now what will happen. Now when I start, see now the size has got less because browser understands that 10 and 20 can be in this small size. That's why it made it small. But again, if you want it to make, like if you want to increase the size, you can again use CSS and increase its size. But right now the browser understands the maximum value is 20, the minimum value is 10. So no need to like create this big field. That's why browser decreased the size. But don't worry, if you want, you can increase it. But see the best part. Now it directly starts from 10 and it is not going below 10. And if I go on the upside, it will never go above 20. So that's the best thing. And what if I do this? Okay, now I have required. So I have to fill all of this. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry about date of birth and everything. We are going step by step, right? We have to see all the fields. Don't worry. I'm going to show you. I'm going to also show you how to take week, how to take time. Don't worry about it. Okay. So let's go out here and let's also put something. Let's go here. Something like this. Now see, if I go here and I put 45, okay. See, I get this value must be less than or equal to 20. So that's one more validation that is provided to you by default. So if you go with spinner, you will go 10 and 20. But if you write by default, you just simply go and write 45. There is a by default validation applied that will give you error properly. And here we go, see, value must be less than or equal to 20. And that's the benefit of writing max and min. That means now you don't have to perform any kind of validation. All the basic validations are covered by normal HTML. Previously, guys, I would like to tell you, previously when there was nothing like this, we used to write a lot of JavaScript code just to perform these validations. Now you don't have to. Everything is easy and simple. Okay, remember guys, max and min only work with numeric fields. They don't work with normal text fields. Okay. Now let's move ahead. Okay, where is it? Okay, cool. Now guys, let's move ahead and let's see the another field. So the next field that I want to show you is input type. Now we have something called as input type date. And this is the field that you are asking for till now. You have input type date. See now what it does. You have a field like this. You have a calendar icon here. Click on it and here we go. So this is what you wanted, right? How to take date of birth. This is how you take it. You simply have an input type date. That's it. You can just go on any particular month. You can just go on any year, just like a normal calendar. You have everything. So this is what you have, right? This is what you were asking, right? Input type date, simple. So this is the field that you can use to take DOB, to take joining date, ending date, whatever date you want, you can use this to take it. Okay. Now let's move ahead and let's see the next field that I want to show you. And that is a really cool field actually. That is one of the coolest field that I have seen. It's again a numeric field, guys. It's again a numeric field. So you have something called as input type range. You have something called as input type range. Where is the data going after registration? Ronak, right now the data is not going anywhere. Right now I have not connected my website anywhere. So it's not going anywhere. It's simply refreshing. Is that clear? Okay. So now guys, see input type range. See how it looks. Please see it, everyone. See, this is an input type range. See, previously there was nothing like this. Okay. In HTML4, there was nothing like this. In HTML5, we have this thing. Previously, when I wanted to create something like this, I either have to use a framework or I have to write a lot of JavaScript and adjust my elements so that I can create something like this. But now you simply have input type range. And again, input type range is a numeric field. That means you can specify min and max. So if I say min equals 10 and max equals 100, that means now this is 10. If I come at the start, it's 10. If I come at the end, it's simply 100. Now it's totally up to you. If you want to make min 10 max 1000, you can do it. Min 1 max 1000, you can do it. Min 10 max 10,000, it's totally up to you. It will adjust the values. You don't have to worry about it. Is that clear? Are we cleared, everyone? Okay. Okay, Manas is asking, sir, is there an attribute called min length? I think it's there. Yeah. You can try it. Yes, you have a min length. Yes, why not? Buddy, you have a min length. See, so I can put min length 3. Let's see if it is working. Let's fill name first, otherwise we'll get an error. Okay, now let's see. Here we go, we get the error. Now if I write A, see, here we go. Please lengthen this text to 3 characters or more. So here we go. We have min length. So I think Manas, your doubt is cleared, buddy. You have min length. Okay, just like max length. Okay. What is the use of range? Okay, I can tell you what is the use of range. So let's say you're on something like Amazon or something, right? There you want to zoom an image. So you can give this control. The user can like come back, go here, and you can like zoom an image based on the range thing. Okay. Or let's say you're trying to vote. So from 1 to 5, the user can select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can use this range field for a lot of things. Okay. Depends upon you. You can use this range field for a lot of things. Are we clear? So you can use it for voting. You can use it for zooming the image. You can use it for zooming websites. You can use it for anything. It's totally up to you. Yeah, you can use it for price. You can use it for filters. Okay, I want a product from 2000 to 4000 or something like that. Sir, play music. Why, buddy? Himanshu, why do you want music, buddy? Can you tell me that? Okay. So everyone, are we cleared? How to show value in range? Now for that, we have to write it. Like for example, we can do this. Like just for example, see. Now, if we have CSS, we can do a lot of things. But for now, let's say I show you this. Put 1 in the start, or let's say 10 in the start. and 20 or 100 at the end. So 10, then your input field, and then 100. So first of all, there is no way of displaying values. You have to create it by yourself. See, now it looks like this. Starting is 10, ending is 100. Now it's not designing, it's simple, but don't worry. When we start with CSS, we're going to see a lot of ways of putting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 here. Don't worry about it. Okay, guys. So right now we don't need it. Remove it. But just to show you, I just showed you like one way. You can like put 10 in the start, 100 at the end. It's totally up to you. Remove it now. We don't need it. Can we use min length and max length both together? Yes, Ronak. Why not, buddy? Obviously, you can always use it. Yes, you can use min length and max length together. Max length will never let you go above it. Min length will always give you error. So yes, you can use min length and max length together. Sir, can we use input type submit for the replace button function? Yes, Akash, you can use it, but I think input type submit is deprecated. Using input tags to create buttons is deprecated now. That's why in HTML5 they have given you button tags, and you can do much more things with it. Okay, so it's actually, you should not use input tags for buttons now. Previously that was the only option, but now we have button tags in HTML5, so you should not use input type button for creating buttons. That's deprecated now. Okay, everyone. Okay, so now guys, let's move ahead and let's see some more fields. Okay, so everyone, you have one more field like this: input type time. You have input type time. See, now you can also have this. Here we go. See, you can actually enter time. See, like this: 9 o'clock, anything you want. It's totally up to you. So you also have input type time, and that's how it works. Is that clear, everyone? Are we understanding, guys? Please tell me. Okay, why I'm zooming it out. Let me just zoom it again. So sorry for that. Okay, so you also have input type time. Okay, now let's move ahead. Don't worry about the designing, guys. Right now we don't have CSS, so I'm not designing it. I'm just showing you all the different kinds of input fields. So please focus on the input fields now, everyone. And tomorrow, maybe by the end of today's session, I'm going to show you some kind of CSS. So don't worry. Once we have CSS, these things can be styled in the best way possible. Right now, it's simple. No, I think it's not a 12-hour format, right? It's 24-hour format. See, it's a 24-hour format. See here, from 1 we go till 23, and here we go 24:00. Okay, yeah, but if you're talking about AM and PM, yes, it's a 12-hour format. Yes, don't worry, we're going to see that. Okay, if you're asking that, let's see. You have input type file. You have input type file, and that's simple. Now you have this thing. See, now after input type time, see, this is what you have. Okay, why I'm creating everything after range? Let me move range up. Oh, so sorry. Let me move this range field up here. Okay, now see, we have an input type file. Okay, and now this thing can be used for uploading files. So now see, if I click on it, I get a proper Explorer menu, and I can select any kind of file. It's totally up to me, depends on me. You can select anything and upload it like this. But now, right now, it's not going to go upload, but at least you can select files. Okay, so this is what you use for uploading pictures, uploading documents, and everything. You have this. People just change their designs. They always use input type file. They just change the design of this button, and that looks cool. Okay, how to restrict file type? But for that, Blackshot OP, we have to write some code, because this is not going to restrict it. So for that, we have to write some code. Okay, yes, we can definitely make it. Now let's see how to create a checkbox. Okay, and that's again really simple. Right now, guys, see, we are not seeing a working of anything. We are simply understanding how to create fields. Okay, so input type checkbox. You have seen it for multiple section, right? You have seen it for multiple choice questions and everything. So input type checkbox, and here we go. See, you have this. Check and uncheck it. Simple, right? You have also seen that, right? You have in gender, male and female, the radio button. That is called as a radio button, the circle one that you can check. So for that, you have input type radio. That is called as a radio button. So you have checkbox, that is a square one, which you can check. And then you have Circle one, that is simply your radio button. Is that clear, everyone? So checkbox and radio button both. Now it depends on us how do we want to use them, and don't worry. In future, when we move to JavaScript and everything, we'll see how to use it. Right now, we're trying to understand how to create these components. So that's what you have to understand. How I'm creating this, what are the input tags, and how many types we have, and what type is creating what kind of field. That's what you have to understand, everyone. Don't worry about how they work, how we're going to send data. We're going to learn everything in future sessions. So don't worry about it. How is UI UX different from HTML and CSS designing? No, it's not different. See, whatever you create using HTML and CSS, that is what you call as UI. UI is the thing that you look and you create it using HTML and CSS. UX is the experience, how easy it is to use, the rate of how easy it is to use a particular design. That is what you call as UX. Okay, and UI is what? The thing that you see. And now it might have been created using HTML and CSS. It might have been created using anything. Like if it's an Android app, it might have been created using React Native or Flutter. The design that you see, it's UI. Now how easy it is to use, that's UX. Okay, perfect. Now guys, let's move ahead. Okay, now I'm going to show you one more field. Okay, that is a really cool field. You have this input type color. Have this input type color, and see now, here we go. You have this. By clicking on this, you get this color selected. Let me zoom it out a little bit so that you can see everything. Here we go. See, you have something like this. You can select a color, and now you can use it for a lot of things. Let's say you're creating a shopping site. You're displaying dresses. User can come here and select a particular color, and you can display that particular dress in that particular color. So you can simply use this input type color if you want a color input. Now it depends where you want to use it. Is that clear, everyone? If two checkbox, how to select only one? See, Black Shadow, first of all, we don't use checkboxes for selecting only one. We use radio buttons for that purpose. Checkboxes are used for multiple selection. Radio buttons are used for single selection. Is that clear, Black Shadow OP? So we use radio buttons for that. And don't worry about it. We're going to see how it works. Right now, we just saw how to create radio button. How it works, how to create two of them and select only one. We'll see that. Don't worry about it. Okay, right now we're just focusing on how to create the contents. That's it. How to create these input fields. That's it. So everyone, are we getting clear with all these things? Guys, please tell me. Now we have some more input fields, but I think this much is enough because we have covered more than what you normally see on a web page, right? So I think this much is enough. Now there are some more input fields that you can definitely go and see. Okay, I can show you one more actually. So there is also a input type week. It will also help you select a complete week like this. See, if I select this, week 32 of 2021, week 30 of 2021. So you can also select a week. Shubham is asking, there is also tel input. Yes, there is also tel input, but that's deprecated. You should never use it. That was the field that I was talking about earlier. It was introduced for telephone numbers, but now we don't use it. Because after that, they understood that telephone number differs for different countries. That's why that field is deprecated. That's what introduced. That field was introduced with email and everything, but now that is deprecated. That was the field that I was talking about earlier. That was used for contact, but is deprecated when they realized that different countries have different formats of telephone numbers. Is that clear? So don't worry. I'll still show you how to actually accept proper contact numbers. Don't worry about it. I'll still show you. So everyone, are we cleared? Guys, please tell me, are we cleared with this? So these are all the input fields. And now we have seen like more than what we normally see on a website. Now we know how to select files for colors, time, range bar, week, date, everything. Which type can be used for URL input tag? Okay, fine. If you're asking it, there is one more field. Input type URL. You can use this field to actually accept URL. Now, just for this, I have to comment everything so that I can show you that here you can put a proper URL. This field requires you to put a proper URL, but to come to this, we have to fill everything else. Okay. Okay. Let me just show you. Let me just comment everything and show you. Placeholder, enter URL, and let me just comment everything else. so that I can show you how it works actually. Let me comment everything else. Now I have a single field, enter URL. Okay. Now let's see. Let's make it required. Oh, sorry. Required. Save it. Okay. Now see, guys. URL field basically says that you should put a proper link in it. So if I put like www.google.com, something like this, see, it's not a proper URL. To put a proper URL, you should put it like this: https:// and now it's a proper URL. And now you can submit it. So URL field can be used to accept links from the user or accept a page link or a URL or a site name or something like that. So you can use the URL field for this purposes. Is that clear, everyone? So that's how you use a URL field. Okay. Now let me also comment this one. Now there are some more, guys. There are few more input fields. I think there are 2 or 3 more input fields, but I want you guys to explore that. Okay. How to comment? Jita, you can simply select everything and just press Control/. That's it. Is that clear? Sir, why are you using backslash at the end of the tag even it's self-closing tag? That's why we call it self-closing, because you have to close it in the opening tag. Is that clear? Shanmuga Priyan? That's why we call it self-closing tag, because we have to close it in there. Closing the tag is very important. Is that clear? Okay, so you have to close it. Self-closing tag means you're closing it in the same tag where you're opening it. But when you put slash, that's when it closes. Okay. So is PHP and SQL required for being a developer? Yes, it's actually important. If you want to become a backend developer, yes, PHP and SQL are important. When we submit, where it goes, right now it's not going anywhere. For that, we have to like perform some operations if we want to submit it. Okay. Okay, everyone. Now we have covered almost all the input fields. Okay. And there are 2 or 3 more, but I want you guys to explore that. Okay. But now let's move ahead and let's see something else. Now you have seen other than input fields, you also have fields where you can perform selection operation, like select country, select your age, or select your gender or something like that. Right. Where you don't put any input, where you get multiple options and you can select anything from that. Right. You have seen it on different websites. So let's see how to create that thing. You have seen it, right? Select age, select your date of year, select your year of birth, or select your country, select your city. You have also seen all of that things, right? So let's see how to create that field that helps you in selection. So the tag that you can use to create that kind of field is called as a select tag. Just like the work, it has a name, select tag. And inside that, you can put multiple options by using the option tag. Here we go. Let's say I put Mumbai. I put, let's say, Pune, and you can put like different things depending on your need. So let's say I also put, let's say, Lucknow, something like that. Now save it and see. This is what I was talking about. Is that clear, everyone? So this is what I was talking about. You have seen this, right? I hope everyone has seen this. So that's how you create it. You simply write a select, and inside that you simply have option fields. That's it. Now, if you want that select city on the top in the start, remember, guys, remember it that you don't have placeholder in it. You don't have any kind of placeholder in this. So you can like just put one more option on the top, and you can simply write select city, and that's it. You'll have your first option as select city, and then you can move ahead and select anything else. So initially it will be select city because your first option is select city. Yes, when selecting country, yes, exactly. Yes. Is that clear, everyone? Guys, yes, definitely, Shubham. You can also put checkboxes for this. It's totally up to you. Depends on the need. As I'm saying always, it depends on the need where you want it to work out. Okay? Okay. Now, there is one more input field, but that's not a normal input field. Okay? There's one more input field named text area, which is like a bigger version of an input field, okay, which can be used to select feedback messages, or which can be used to fetch what you call as address areas, or bigger text, bigger things like feedback messages, extra information, or messages, or address information. You can use this. Okay. Sir, how to make it a required field? Simple, simple, simple. Yes, Sharma. You can simply go ahead and put a required here. That's it. Done. Put a required there. Okay. Now I want to explain few more things there. But before that, let me show you text area. Now, if I'm putting required, I have to do few more things. Wait, I want to show you. Don't worry. So first of all, let's see text area. So placeholder. Let's say enter message. Save it. And here we go. See, it's a bigger field. See, it's a bigger field. Right. So that's why we use it. Jyotsna, can you please block this webcamschat.com? He's like spamming the message. Okay, can you please block him, Jyotsna, if you're there? Okay. So guys, this is what text area is used for. Simple. And if you want, you can also decrease and increase the size of it. Okay. Now, to increase and decrease the size of text area, you have two attributes. You have an attribute called as rows. You have an attribute called as calls, which stands for columns. So you have rows and calls. Rows will increase the number of lines you can write. Columns will increase the number of alphabets you can write in a single line. So rows will increase the number of lines you can write. That means it will increase the height. And calls will increase the number of characters you can write in a line. That means the width. You can see if I say rows 5 and calls 10. See now? It goes like this. That means now I can write 10 characters in a line, right? And total of 5 lines. See? So that's how it works. So you can increase the height and width by using rows and calls. So now how many how number of lines you want and how many number of calls you want, depending on this, you can use it. Are we cleared, everyone? Sir, is there input field for currency? I don't think, Harshita, there is no input field for currency. You have to create it by using these fields only. Okay, everyone, are we cleared? Guys, so that's how you use text area. Now, there is one really important thing that I would like to tell you about text area that a lot of people don't know or they don't tell you. That is, never ever give a space between opening and closing of text area, or never enter it like this. Why? Because if you do it, see now, you cannot see the placeholder because that space is getting considered as a value of this text area. That space is getting considered as a value of this text area. That's why you should never give any space or enter in between text area. You should always keep it like this. Simple. Are we cleared? That's it. Now you can see the placeholder and now there is no value. It's empty, completely empty. Are we cleared? How to put number of words increasing in text area? You can increase it by using calls. You can increase it by using calls. And I say, oh, fine, 30 words per line, 30 alphabets per line. Sorry. Here we go. Now I can put 30 alphabets per line. Simple. Like this. Everyone, are we cleared with the text area? Guys, please tell me. Are we cleared with text area, guys? Everyone, please tell me. Okay. Now. Let's come in this text area. And now I want to show you how to make this thing required properly, because now there is an issue in this. Okay. Now see, guys, focus. Everyone, please focus. Now I have 4 options. So I have select city, I have Mumbai, I have Pune, I have Lucknow. What if someone selects the select city option and registers? It will still go ahead, because now you can see I have required, but it's not giving me any error. It's not giving me any error because see, for us, Mumbai, Pune, Lucknow are cities, but select city is not a city. It's a normal text. But for browser, they are all normal values. Remember, guys, every option is considered as a value. Every option is considered as a value. And for browser, every one of its normal text, right? For us, Mumbai, Pune, Lucknow are city, but for the browser, the select city, Mumbai, Pune, Lucknow are nothing but just values. So remember, guys, if you're using required, it will never work if you have like option like this. So how to make it work? How to tell this select field that if the user selects select city, use your required, and if the user selects Mumbai, Pune, or Lucknow, just pass it. So for that, you have to use a separate value attribute. You have to use a separate value attribute for option. Okay. And now see, I can do this. If you want, you can pass anything, but let's say I'm passing the same thing: Lucknow, Pune, and Mumbai. So guys, remember, if you don't have the value attribute, whatever you put in the option, that will be considered as the value. But if you put the value attribute, this will be visible, but this will be the value. This will be displayed in the browser, and this will be the value. So you can also put this like MUMBUN. So in the browser, we'll see Mumbai, but when we select Mumbai, internally, Mum will go as a value. Mumbai will not go as a value. So if you want, you can keep them same. If you want, you can keep them different. But one important thing is now you come to select city and put a blank value. That means no value for select city. And now the required will work. So if you don't have the value attribute, these will be considered as the values, whatever you have between the options. That's why you should put value if you have an option like that. Now, let's see. Now, if I just use select city, now we have this. And now if I go ahead, it works. But on select city, it will always give me error. So that's how it works. So that's why while using select, you should always go for what? The value attributes. Is that clear, everyone? Are we cleared, guys? No, Priya, because select does not have any placeholder. Select does not like have any kind of placeholder. Placeholder attribute is not available for select. Can we search a city in select tag? Yes, why not, buddy? Yes. But for that, we have to make some modifications. Okay. But as I think if you just simply like, if you simply want to search, just select the field. I think, yeah, see, I like type M and I got to Mumbai. I type P, I go to Pune. I type L, I go to Lucknow. So yeah, the basic searching is working. But if you want a proper search field and everything, then we have to make that. It will not come by default. Is that clear? Okay. And you also have a multiple attribute in this. You also have a multiple attribute in this, by which what you can do, now it will come like this. And by pressing control now, you can select multiple things. So that's what the multiple attribute does. So if you ever want to make a select, now this is very rare, but if you ever want to make a select field where people can select multiple things, you can simply write multiple in this. So it will be visible like this. And you can simply, by pressing control, you can select multiple things. It's totally up to you. Can you show how Mum come after selecting Mumbai? It will not come now. When we submit it, then we're going to see it. Right now, we can't see the values. At least we need either JavaScript or some backend language to see the values, because first we have to submit this form. Is that clear? So don't worry, Ronak. Don't worry. I think day after tomorrow, we are starting with JavaScript. And in that case, I'm going to show you how to read input fields. And there I'll show you the select field. So if you continue with this, I'm going to show you how to like select everything, how to get the values for it. Okay. Yes, yes, Khadija, you can definitely go for checkbox. It's just an option, right? It's just one more option. That's it. You can go for checkbox. You can go for normal input fields. You can go for select. It's up to you. Okay. Okay, everyone, are we clear with this? But now I don't want to use this multiple, so let me just remove it because I want it like this only. That's it. Okay, everyone. What is it? Yeah, I'm going to show you, Manish. Don't worry. And now, guys, the last thing in forms that I want to teach you is this field. Input type hidden. Okay. The required multiples are where it use. Required multiple. Required was for making this field required, and multiple was for so that you can select multiple values, multiple options. Is that cleared? Okay, guys, now let's move ahead. Now let's see. Now the last field that I'm showing you today is input type hidden. Now, as the name says, it's a input field that will be hidden. It means you cannot see this input field. So what is the use of this? And how can you pass values in this then? So remember, guys, input type hidden is used to pass internal hidden values. Something that you don't want to show to the user, but you want it internally. But how are you going to give it value? How you are going to give it? How you're going to give an input type hidden a value if the user can't see it? So for that, you can again use the value attribute, and you can pass anything like ABC or 123. So let's say there is some secret code or something like that you want to internally pass from the browser. You don't want the user to see this. You want to internally pass from the browser some secret code or something like that you don't want the user to see. In that case, you can always use input type hidden. Okay, it will not be visible, but it will still get submitted. This field will not be visible, but it will still get submitted. Is that clear, everyone? Okay, so you can use the value attribute to specify a default value. Are we cleared, guys? Okay. Mirama is asking how the server will know. Don't worry. Input type hidden is just like an input field. It's not displayed to the user. That's it. That's the only thing. Okay, it's just not displayed to the user. And according for the usability, you use it to pass internal values. For example, if the user is logged in, you can store the ID of the user in the input field and pass it every time without showing it to the user. Right? You can put some secret information in the input field that you want to submit with the form, but you don't want to show it to the user. You can use it. There are different examples. There are like different ways, and you'll understand it when we actually use it. Okay, so right now just think, okay, fine, we have a hidden field. How to use it, you'll understand when we actually start using it. But right now, it is used to pass some secret information that you don't want the user to see, or that you don't want the user to work on. Okay, everyone? Okay, cool. Now remember, guys, this value attribute is available with all the fields. This value attribute is available with all the fields. Okay, like for example, let me create a normal input field. Please, everyone, focus. Let me create a normal input field. So input type normal text. See now, everyone, and let me also put a placeholder. Let me just put again enter name. See, everyone, now I have a normal input field. So as I told you, that value attribute is available with each and every field. So now this is a normal field. This field is getting displayed, right? If I use value here like this, value Saurabh, this value will actually fill that field by default like this. See, now it's not a placeholder, guys. It's a text. It's the data that is there. This is the data. So you can also use the value attribute to autofill your text fields, autofill any kind of field, autofill your date fields, autofill your number fields, autofill your range fields. You can use it to fill any kind of field. So if you ever want to autofill any field, you can use the value attribute. Is that clear, everyone? So that's why value attribute is one of the most important attributes. Are we cleared? Himanshu is asking for show password option. I told you, buddy, that is something that we have to create. So don't worry. When we come to JavaScript, that is the first thing that I'll teach you, how to create a show password option by yourself. Okay. Where this autofill is used. Yes, I can tell you that. Say, for example, yes, that's one option. This is in search bars. When you search for something, a page loads in the search bar, the search thing is already written in your, what do you call, the field, right? Or let's say you're on some banking form. Okay, so when you open a form, if you're already logged in, your, let's say, account number and IFSC code is already filled in the fields. You can change it, but it's already filled. Is that cleared, everyone? So yes, that's where you can use it. Whenever you want to autofill a field, you can always go for the value attribute. Is that clear, everyone? Guys, are we cleared? Please tell me. Everyone? Guys, are we cleared? Now, let me show you a few more attributes. Now let's say you have filled a form. You have auto-filled a value. You have auto-filled a value. Okay. But you don't want the user to change it. You have auto-filled a value, but you don't want the user to change it. That means I'm showing this field, but currently the user can change it. You can cut it and write it. I don't want the user to change it. What can I do for that? How can I make a field read only? That means the user should be unable to change it. So for that, guys, you have one more attribute named read only. To pass this attribute in the input field, see what will happen. Now I cannot go in that field and write anything. Now it's only read only. I can only see the things. I cannot change. See, I cannot cut, I cannot write anything. You can block your input fields like this. You can simply use read only. That's it. Is that clear, everyone? Guys, are we understanding this? So if you have like ever filling an input field, and if you like auto filling input field and you don't want the user to change it, you can make it read only, and you can make any of the fields read only. It's totally fine. Are we cleared, everyone? Okay. And now one more thing, one last thing. What if I want to disable a button? What if I want to disable a button? You have seen it, right? On a lot of websites, we have a disabled button, a button that you cannot click. Yash is asking, please explain read only again. It's simple, but it's simple. See, now I put read only here. That means I cannot do anything in that field. I cannot write. I cannot write in that. I cannot do anything. I can only see the things. You can also make a blank field read only. For example, if I remove this value Saurabh, now that field is not by default there, but now I cannot write anything in that. You can block an input field by passing read only. Is that clear? I cannot write in that. I cannot do anything. I'm clicking my mouse. I'm trying to type something, but I cannot do it because it's a read only field. I can only see the things. I cannot do anything. It's a blocked field. Is that clear? And it is generally used with autofilled fields. It is generally used with autofilled fields. Because why do you why will you block a empty field? You will always try to block a field where you don't want to user to change anything. So that's why we normally use read only with autofilled fields, but you can always use it like anywhere. It's totally up to you. Okay. Line 84, what are you asking? Can you tell me what is the meaning of line 84 column 13? Now I have to check what is the column 13 then. Okay, this one. Oh, that's simple. Okay, this is basically on which line is my cursor on. Is that clear, Ronak? I thought you were asking what is on line 83. It's simple, buddy. See, on wherever I go with my cursor, it is telling me I am currently on line 84, column 37. Column 37 means how much spaces I have. Like if I count columns like this. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like this. Is that clear, buddy? So that's how it works. I hope you're understanding, buddy. So that's nothing. It's simple. Okay, guys. So the last thing, how to make a button disabled, and it's really simple. There is simply a disabled attribute that you can put on buttons, and that's it. Now, if you'll see, this is how the button normally looks. If I refresh the page, see, now that button is grayed out. Here we go. Now that button is disabled. What is the difference between read only and disabled? You normally use disable with buttons and read only for input fields. Sometimes people also use disable for input fields, but normally you use disable for buttons and use read only for input fields, because read only will not work for buttons. That's why for buttons, if you want to disable a button, you use disabled attribute. If you want to disable input field, you use read only attribute. Is that clear? How to see that data entered after submitting the form? Right now we can't, because we're only working with HTML. In day after tomorrow, we're going to start with JavaScript, and in JavaScript, I'll show you how to read forms value. Is that clear? Where disable button is used, what's the use? Okay, I'll tell you, Priya. Sometimes you see this, right? You see a form and the submit button is by default disabled. Until and unless you fill the form correctly, the button will be disabled. Only if you fill the form correctly, the button will become enabled. So that's a good way of validating your form. You're not going to let the user submit the form until and unless the form is correctly filled. So you can use it there. Is that cleared? Okay. So this is what disabled is. Are we cleared, everyone? Guys, are we cleared? Please tell me. Okay. 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 Now I think someone is asking again and again how to put icon here, right? I told you I'll show you how to put icon here. So let's do it. Let's do it. I'll show you how to do it. Okay. Let me download an icon for it first. Either you can download it or again you can use the image address, but let me download an icon. So let me download an icon of Avengers for now. Okay. Avengers icon. So Avengers icon, something like that. Use any icon. So let me use this one. Right click, save image as. In the same folder, I'm going to store it in media. Let me just name it Avenger. Okay. Save. Why do not remove that input before we want to disable? See, Miramat, sometimes we want to show the field to the user, but we just don't want the user to put anything in that. That's when we make read only. Is that clear? Sometimes we want to show input field to the user, but we just don't want the user to put anything in that. That's why we do it. Yes, Jeeta, actually, I thought that we'll cover this very fast and then we'll start with CSS, but not a problem. We still have tomorrow's session. We'll take some extra time tomorrow and we'll try to complete the basics of CSS. So don't worry about it. Okay, don't worry about it. Now, guys, let's see how to put an icon. So now I have the icon downloaded. I have this Avenger.ico. Okay, is it proper image? Okay, not a problem. Let's see if it is working. So now I have the image, guys, and now let's go here and let's see how to put the icon in your tab. So what you do is you simply go in your head. Okay, just go in your head and just use a link tag. Okay, link tag. In that, put relation rel. There's an attribute called rel. So put rel as icon. Okay, that means the thing that you're putting here is an icon. That's the relation. And then just use href, hyperlink reference. That means what you want to use, and just put the image or the icon that you're using. So Avenger.ico. Let's see. Save it. Refresh. Okay, it's not working. I think the icon file is not correct. Let's use something else. Or let me just also use like favicon here. Sometimes favicon works. Let's see if it is working. No, it's not working. Let me use some other icon then. It's a HTML document. No, I don't want a HTML document, buddy. I want an image. Where can I get a normal image then? Okay, let me just name it Avenger. Save it. Okay, now we have a different icon file. Let's use that. So again, let me just put icon here. And instead of ICO file, I'm going to use the JPG file. JPG. Avenger.jpg. And let's see if it is working. Oh. I'm making any mistake here. I think I'm making some small silly mistake somewhere. Why it's not working? Okay. Let me use this shortcut hyphen icon. There are different relations. Let me try all of it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot. It's in a different folder. Yep. Thank you so much, guys, for reminding me. I'm so sorry. I forgot that. That's so dumb of me. Not a problem. Cool. My bad. That's what I thought. I thought why it is not working. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yep. Here we go. So icon is fine. I was trying different relations actually. So icon relation is fine. And just in the href, put your image. And here we go. It's working. See, you can see it now. So that's how you put icon in your tab, just like Google has put it. And now in your tablet, you have this Avengers icon. Is that cleared? How to make button to get disabled after we click? For that, we again need to use JavaScript. If you want to do any event operation, we have to use JavaScript. Is that cleared? Right now, we cannot perform any event or any operation because we don't have JavaScript. Is that cleared? Are we cleared, everyone? Guys, are we cleared? So simple. Now you know, right, how to put icons in your tabs. Simple. Link tag, relation icon, and href, the image file that you want to use. So simple as that. And if icon doesn't work for you, sometimes icon relation doesn't work. So in that case, use this favicon. If icon doesn't work, use favicon. But normally icon will always work. Okay. Cool. So everyone, are we cleared? Guys, are we cleared with this? Please tell me. Ronak is still asking, are you sure, Ronak? Can you tell me what is the meaning of line number 84? See, buddy, I think it's an old doubt. Now I'm not even on line number 13, call number 13, right? Not a problem. That line number 84, call 13 is where my cursor is at currently. Like this, see. Now I'm on line number 4. So line number 4, column 21. That means how many alphabets I can write there. So column 24 means that many alphabets have been like crossed or that many spaces have been crossed. Simple. Is that cleared? How to use on click? Again, we have to wait for JavaScript. Guys, don't worry. I'm going to show you everything. How to use on click, how to perform events, how to use event, how to create show password, how to create sliders or something like that. Don't worry. But we have to wait for JavaScript because right now we are still at HTML. As I told you, by HTML, we only create components. So right now we're only creating components. In CSS, we'll see how to design components. In JavaScript, we'll see how to perform events on components. So don't worry. Can you tell about block and inline? Yes, don't worry, buddy. Tomorrow we have CSS session. We're going to talk all about this block, inline, everything. Because tomorrow we're going to do CSS. When we do Flexbox tomorrow, Melika, we're going to do CSS. So all the basics of CSS and about Flexboxing, I'm going to tell you tomorrow. So don't worry about it. Okay. Everyone, are we cleared? I can see your doubts. Yeah, exactly. All animations are in JavaScript. Yes, we're going to use it. We can also use CSS for animation. Don't worry about it. Not a problem. Kunal is asking, please, once again, icon. It's simple, buddy. See, it's simple. Just go in a head tag, use a link tag, okay? And this is your icon that I want to put in my tab. So this link tag is simply used to perform, like to attach any external things. So icon is considered as an external thing that you're putting in your tab. So link, you use link tag to display that icon in your tab. So link, okay, this is what I'm linking. And what is the relation between the content and this page that I'm linking? The relation is icon. That thing is going to be the tablet icon for this page. That's why the relation is icon. This link tag is simply used to link anything with this page, with this HTML page. So I'm currently linking this image with this page, and the relation is icon. The thing that I'm linking with this page is an icon. It understands it and it displays it on the tab icon. Yes, Manas. Oh, that's great, buddy. You have seen it. Can you extend one more day? I have to talk. Student buddy, I have to talk for it. Not a problem. Let me talk. Let me talk. Let me talk. If I can extend, I really want to extend it actually. So let me talk with the team. If I can extend, I'll definitely do it so that we can cover more of the CSS. So don't worry about it. Okay, everyone. And Ronak, don't worry. All these things will be shared. So don't worry about it. Okay. And about responsive, guys, don't worry. This was only for HTML and CSS. After this, we'll move on to JavaScript. And after that, we're going to move on to responsive designing. So don't worry. After this, we're going to complete JavaScript. And after that, we are going to move on to what you call as responsive design. So don't worry. We're also going to learn responsive design at the end after completing JavaScript. As I told you yesterday, you have to follow all these 9 sessions. First 3 of HTML and CSS, next 3 of JavaScript, and the other 3 of responsive design. So we can continue everything. Is that cleared? Where we have to register for JavaScript course? Tomorrow we'll provide the link in the chat. Just Gosavi. See, first of all, if you want to join it, you can simply go on the site letsupgrade.in and you can get that link. And don't worry, tomorrow we will put the link in the chat. The JavaScript registration link we will put it in the chat tomorrow and you can join it from there. Don't worry. Is that cleared? And tomorrow again, same time, 6 o'clock. So I want all of you to be there. Okay, everyone? Yes, JS is also free. The essential of JS is also going to be free the 3 days. And after that, the responsive is also going to be free. So don't worry about it. Right? Don't worry about it. Okay. So guys, that's it for today. We have learned about tables. We have learned about forms. And we also saw how to put icons. Okay. And don't worry, guys. Please, everyone join the group because the assignment question and all the materials will be shared in the group. And if the community doesn't work, please register to the course. We will share all the things to you in the mail. So don't worry, guys. Don't worry about the assignment, guys. The assignment question and this whole folder will be shared to you. Okay. On the community. If the community doesn't work, if we see that community is not working, please register to the course and we'll mail all the things to you. Is that clear? Can we do any change in the size? No. Nope. You cannot change size of this icon. It's fixed. What you see here is fixed. It's not an area where you can perform like styling, right? It's fixed. Simple. Okay, everyone. Yes, Milika, I know that, buddy. I know that. But the problem, there was some problem at that time. So not a problem. Once we finish responsiveness, after that, we are definitely going to perform a mobile application development essentials. So don't worry, Milika. Don't worry. In future, we are planning for it. Once we finish all these JS and responsiveness, we'll definitely start with mobile app development. Don't worry, Milika. Okay. And Jyotsna, can you please pass the course registration link in the chat? So guys, the group link is in the chat and the registration link is also in the chat. Please just click on it, join in, and so that you can have everything. Is that cleared? No, Walter, it will not affect. The quality will not get affected because it's a really small icon, right? So it will not get affected. Yes, yes, please join in the group and also register to the course so that all the materials and the assignment questions either will be mailed to you or you'll find like simply find all that in the group. I'm fumbling a lot now. I can see all the charts going on like really quickly. Okay. Okay, so tomorrow, guys, we are going to start with CSS, and today marks the end of the basic HTML. Tomorrow, we'll still have a little bit of HTML to cover. So we'll see it tomorrow, and we'll again start with CSS tomorrow. Okay, everyone? No, Ronak, because that's not the body area, right? Ronak, you cannot use the image tag there because that's not the body area, buddy. That's a head area. That tablet is not your body area. So you cannot use the image tag. Image tag is only for the body area. So Josna, can you please put the group link and the registration link for HTML and CSS and JavaScript in the chat, please? Yes, Jitha, don't worry. We're also planning for Angular and React. So don't worry. We'll also do that. Don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, guys. Deuce, we're going to start with CSS tomorrow, buddy. Don't worry. We're going to start with CSS tomorrow. Okay. So everyone, guys, I hope you guys are cleared. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the session. So please let me know in the chat, guys, if you like enjoyed the session or not. Okay, and that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll start with CSS, and after that we'll start with JavaScript. So thank you so much, guys. Bye bye, everyone. See you tomorrow exactly at 6. And please let me know in the chat, did you guys enjoy the session or not? Everyone. Okay, and I'll see you tomorrow exactly at 6 o'clock. So everyone, bye bye. See you tomorrow.